everyone, and welcome back to Brown Coat Reviews. Obviously, I'm your host, Laura, and this is my favorite co-host, my husband, Scott. So, normally we record these on Wednesday nights, but we decided, one, we were too tired, and two, we wanted to entertain you with our caffeine this morning, so...
It's been a crazy few days.
Yes.
Hope everybody had a good long weekend if you got an extra day off for Memorial Day. We spent ours in a whirlwind. Yeah.
Yes, so we have family in town. I do appreciate those of you that noticed that we were a little MIA. If you haven't checked it out, of course, the DJ interview was amazing, but part of the reason that we are a little missing in action is because our comic book room is in disarray. Yes. I'm not going to angle the camera down, but let's just say the comic books are all over the place because I decided to take on a crafty project that still is not done. So I do have some cool behind the scenes images of how we're redesigning our comic book room to be able to share with you all. Yeah. But it's still not done.
No. We got to play the floor is lava to try and make it over here to the couch this morning because there's everything. It's scary. It's a mess. But anyhow.
So we're gonna make it work.
Sorry for the mess. Sorry we're a little late. Sorry we've not been quite as active, but it's all gonna make sense when you see the big reveal, I think.
Yes,
I hope.
And you're gonna love it because if you don't love it, I don't know.
No, it's okay. You can not love it. Just be nice.
Yes. God, please be nice. Okay, so ours, we do have some unboxing, and technically one of the unboxings is a box that Scott has no idea what's in it.
Yeah. Which is becoming a recurring theme, but whatever. I don't know. I just live here.
All right. The Laura pile. I have no stand.
That's why she needs me.
I do. Okay, so Tankers #2 came out. This is the Bad Idea Comics. And I do say, some of these Bad Idea comics have the coolest little back cover. So, Bad Idea Comics, obviously we know about the hype and the excitement. This is, as I've been describing it, Avatar meets Jurassic Park. So it's definitely kind of a bit of a fluffy series so far, but I'm curious if #2 is going to get a little bit more in depth, a little bit more intriguing. If not, it's just going to be a fun ride. #2 was The Conjuring: The Lover. So we know that The Conjuring third movie is coming out this summer. This is the comic book that he's either meant to kind of build up to or be kind of a prequel to kind of join the second movie to the third movie. I've not seen that done as often. I'm sure it's happened before, but I wanted to sort of see the comic book and then watch the movie and see what we think. And lastly is the next Batman, Second Son. So this is issue #3. If you watched my chopping block video, this is going to be my, make it or break it point. The series has a lot of potential, but it's been a ton of drama. And I need it to get beyond family bickerings and get to the good stuff. So.
Really cool cover, though.
I do love that cover. Yes. Your turn?
Oh. Here we go.
Oh.
They're falling.
Betty's falling.
Oh, no. So, my list this week, I have a new series with one of my favorite female characters, Betty Page, The Curse of the Banshee. So, that's my A cover there. And then, got a Lisner print as well. So, the shop, actually, thank you very much, Cassie down at Ultimate Comics in Raleigh. Yes. Ordered one for me, and they accidentally sent them 2. And she was like, you know what? You get 2, because I don't want to make space for 1. And also, I'm gracious and kind, and anyhow, it was very nice of them.
Yes.
So I got an extra cover, and it happens to be one that I like by an artist. And then we got Amazing Spider-Man, The Chameleon Conspiracy, Part 1.
It's a cool cover.
Love this cover. Yeah. Very cool. Hopefully some of you have been answering my questions about that. I asked a few weeks ago. If not, I'll ask it again. Have you been reading it, following up with that series? Continuing on with that series, what are your thoughts? Just kind of curious. And then we have the Us pile. This is Batman, Catwoman, issue 4?
5.
Issue 5. Sorry. Not enough caffeine and no glasses.
So, as I described, Batman, Catwoman is a great series. It's definitely like the 12 Days of Christmas, so there are 12 issues that should be coming out with the series. This is the Jim Lee cover. The only issue that I have with this series is that it jumps forwards and backwards in the storyline. So you do have to go back on the Batman Rebirth series, but I'm trying to figure out exactly where you need to go back to then be able to kind of help those of you that maybe aren't as familiar with the Batman canon as others.
Speaking of him, Batman 109.
I do love that cover, though.
And then we have Nocterra issue 4. Been waiting on that.
That series has been awesome.
Yeah. I love this artwork. It's getting more and more right up my alley. Everyone that comes out. Love the back covers. You keep that bad door locked. You hear me?
Yeah.
Just saying. Love the writing in that so far too. It's been kind of neat. And finally, so for people who are familiar, my wife is a huge fan of a lot of stuff from BBC, from classic literature all the way through, but specifically she has certain actors and actresses that she follows, certain British actors and actresses. She tends to find them before they get their big make it break it roles, or breakthrough roles. And they, she then will point out like, oh, this is so-and-so that I've been watching, and oh, you need to watch this girl. And usually she's right. All of that being said, she was a Tom Hiddleston fan, probably before most of us knew who Tom Hiddleston was. And then after the Marvel Avengers movies came out and we saw him as Loki, I became a fan, started following him and other stuff. Long story short, we have Marvel Tales Loki because we're fans not only of the character in the movie, partly because of Tom Hiddleston's portrayal, but we've gone more into Neil Gaiman's Norse mythology, which I highly recommend. If you haven't read or listened to the Audible version, do it. That's the best way I can put it. It adds a whole other realm and a whole lot of information to that entire faith, belief system that a lot of the stuff that the original guys drawing Thor were kind of pulling from. They did earlier in the series, and then more of the stuff in the movies, they kind of just skip over it. Even like the Dark World and some of the ones where they got a little bit more into, what all was going on with Odin and Thor. They still didn't, they just barely touched the surface of the mythology behind it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. If you listen to the Norse mythology Audible or read the book by Neil Gaiman, you'll have a deeper understanding of why is Thor Odin wearing an eye patch. What's Hel's problem? The sister. Where do the Valkyries come from? Why is all the Ragnarok important in more ways than what we saw in the movie? There's a lot of stuff there, a lot of meat, and it's really good. So can't wait to get into the Trials of Loki. And
the Trials of Loki, I believe, should be again setting up the upcoming TV series from Disney. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
The girls fell. Sorry, I gotta pick up Robin Hood.
Yes.
And
hang on, don't cover that. That's the box you gotta open.
And Zella. Okay, well then I put them.
You gotta put them somewhere.
Hey, ladies, want to sit next to me on the couch? Cool.
You can't open that yet, though.
All right,
I gotta put down caffeine.
Here, no, don't you dare give me my coffee.
Hang on, I gotta open these two because you know what these two are.
Coffee.
Really?
Woman.
Really?
Coffee.
All right, so most of you have been following me on Instagram and you saw my bargain shopping alerts. So this weekend for Memorial Day, I got a last minute bargain grab. So this is Scott Snyder's and Greg Capullo, Batman, The Last Night on Earth. So this was over 50% off, so I was super excited. This is a series that I still haven't read, but if you watch the Scott Snyder Justice League remake at the very tail end, there's a lot of references to this particular story. So I was kind of curious to see what the original story was and then kind of get that little piece of Justice League to make a little bit more sense to me. Now I pre-ordered this March or April and it finally arrived this week. I've been waiting that long for this sucker. As always, it's another bargain shopping find. eBay. Super excited. You're gonna need that. So, as we all know, Patrick Gleason came out with the Carnage Black, White, and Blood cover, which I just think is gorgeous. I got the Virgin variant. Yes. Exclusive COA Patrick Gleason. I did not get it from Patrick Gleason because they sold out way too fast. I got it on eBay in an auction before everyone kind of went nuts on eBay. And let's just say...
Did you steal it?
I did not steal it.
Oh, life's a thief sometimes.
I did not. Instead, it was an eBay seller that was hoping to kind of incite an auction, so they put it at a super low price. And I was the only one that bid. So, surprise!
Hate it when that happens.
I hate it. Which means that I get Patrick Gleason Virgin variant covers for really little money.
That's very good.
So excited.
May I help with this one?
This one you're allowed to open.
Oh, now I am intrigued. Thank you.
Coffee's empty.
First round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's stuff for you and me in here.
Oh, stop.
Yeah.
Make people think you're all generous and share.
And bargain shopping. Don't look at the receipt. Don't you dare.
I wasn't. Alright.
That's obviously me.
It weighs a ton, too.
Yep, so Ed Brubaker, Criminal. So this is, I believe it's book 3. So now all I'm missing is book 2. So this was another $50 book for $30. So excited. So we have spent $56 on $100 retail value on the Criminal series. I just need book 2 now.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
So that one must be for me. This is Heroes in Crisis. It's a series that I've been toying the idea of buying and wanting for a while. And I almost bought it during one of our last sales at Ultimate Comics, and I don't remember why I didn't get it. I think we traded it out for something else.
We switched it for something else.
But anyhow, I'm looking forward to this one.
Scotchman wanted to read it, and I can't remember the price, but it was a great price.
And it's just, yeah, I can't. Oh, did you get me? Wait, what is this?
Okay, so show the picture for a second.
But I'm selfish. I want to see it first.
So the story behind this is that Scott has all the covers on this series except for one. So then, of course, we can't read it because I hate having that kind of jump in the series.
Yes.
So I've been looking for that one particular cover that he's looking for, and it was like $5-6 because it's one of the larger covers. And then they had the hardcover collection of the entire series for $10.
So I can read it now.
So
awesome.
I got it.
Awesome.
You guys remember a week or so ago, my husband was saying that he couldn't find number 1 of the Scooby-Doo Batman mystery series. Well, I'm a good wife. This was a Loragram. So this is Web of Venom Wraith, issue number 1, Donny Cates.
That's just a cool cover.
It's a very cool cover.
Wow. Very
and cool. This is the Loragram, which actually started it all. So I have, again, all issues in this series and was missing issue number 1. I loved that cover, dying to read it, and technically all of this started because Midtown Comics knows where I live. They sent me an email saying that they put Hellblazer on sale, and they're like, check it out.
I love it.
Yeah.
Just a friendly reminder
that it's available.
We know you're shopping.
And suddenly they're like, oh, and by the way, if you want to get free shipping and handling, we've got other things on sale.
Just add 4 or 5 more to the pile.
I totally gave in.
Love this. I really do.
But
so
the finds for this week. So on to the Q&A.
Well, and don't forget, we haven't mentioned yet, the subscriber giveaway.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Yeah, so we're still on our way to 500 subscribers. When we get to that point, we're having a giveaway. So we're actually having 2. We're going to have a generic giveaway one for just reaching the goal of 500. And we're also going to have a separate one for people who are contributing, liking, commenting, sharing, questioning, all that more. So 2 separate giveaways. Do you know where we're at right now?
I believe last I checked, we're at 137.
137. So we're just stuck in the mud, y'all. Come on, share, send this link out to people. Even if it's something that you're like, God, you can't believe how silly this guy's impressions are. Send it to all your friends just to get them to laugh. Maybe they'll like it and subscribe too. We can get to that 500 number.
I will give you all an insider scoop.
Uh-oh.
So, you may have noticed that we are missing 2 specific releases that came out this week. I did that intentionally. So, Nice House on the Lake and the Star Wars Bounty Hunters #1 both dropped. That is because I am waiting to get the Ken Lashley exclusive covers and get his signed version. Now, the Ken Lashley cover on Nice House on the Lake, it's a wraparound. It is gorgeous, and it's a new James Tynion, the 4th series, which I'm dying to read. Even Scott Snyder was talking about it yesterday, about how the series just has an amazing beginning. It's going to be a wonderful series. Highly recommend it. I haven't even read it yet, and I can start recommending it. It's James Tynion. He's done amazingly. Now, for the comment giveaway. So, like I said, we've got the 1 giveaway. You just subscribe. Congratulations. For those of you that have been active in the comment section, I have a Ken Lashley cover, signed, remarked cover that I will be giving away to those of you who are absolutely amazing. It's taking forever to arrive from Canada. Ken Lashley's a little backed up, but it is on its way.
Can I enter that one?
You can enter that one. If you start commenting.
That's not fair.
It's totally fair.
Oh, it's for them.
It is for them. But let's just say I'm going to have to put some sort of time frame on it, because if we don't hit the 500 mark by a certain date, I'm just going to keep the cover because it's going to be awesome.
So, subscribe, share. Come on, let's get there.
Yes. And make sure to comment, because it's Ken Lashley. You're going to want this one.
Cool.
Comments. All right, so last week we asked you all to submit your questions and we would answer here on the show. So the first question was from Kevin K. He asked for recommendations on lighthearted feel-good comics, preferably indie. So what did we come up with?
Well, it's not really indie, I guess, but for me, Scooby-Doo. He's in a new series with Batman. If you saw earlier, I grabbed issue 2, I think, last week, and my wife found issue 1 for me, Batman Scooby-Doo Mysteries. Lighthearted, something takes me back to my childhood and watching cartoons on Saturday morning.
Lady Mechanica, which I've already talked about,
yes.
And Robin Hood from Zenescope.
Yeah.
So the first 3, the first original trilogy, definitely is a bit more dark because it's the origin of the character. Mm-hmm. And then she kind of breaks out of that origin story in the next series, and it's funny as all get out. She's a very, very funny, witty character in general, but that next run is definitely my favorite. At one point, she goes to Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And it's just seriously fun.
Then there's also, kind of on the lighthearted side for me, too, a lot of Deadpool, just because he's so sarcastic and cutting. And Harlequin, a lot of her stuff is, more on the lighthearted edge, I would say. But then, too, don't forget, we talked about Deadpool, Harley, Robin Hood, Scooby, and that's it.
Lady Mechanica.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. But if I think of anything else, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Martin M. asked, is there a series that you loved and I hated, and vice versa?
So I love, or at least like a lot more than Laura, Hack Slash.
Which, my disclaimer on Hack Slash is I gotta take it in small chunks. It's a good series, but I can't read it back to back. It's just, it was not my favorite horror genre.
I just if you've Final Girl, either the movie or that, if you are familiar with the premise of that, Hack Slash is right up your alley. And I like that. But
Joker and Harley is another one that's got likes, but I can't get over the art, and the storylines kind of drive me a little nuts.
Yeah, and the Joker Harley series and the Harleen series and the Joker Smile series all kind of came out around the same time. I get why if you were a real big fan of one, you might not like the others.
Harleen, awesome.
Harleen is awesome. I just took Joker and Harley as a separate entity. I like them both on different merits.
Yeah, you've got to pretend it's its own world.
Yeah.
Oslo B asked,
Wonderland.
sorry. Series that I loved that he did not. I think because I've kind of flown ahead of him on a lot of comic book reading, so
yeah.
I couldn't think of a lot of titles that he's hated. The only one that I think he didn't really get into is Zenescope's Wonderland. It is a very dark and twisty series. It's a lot of like the past is the present is the past, and it's just this really cool kind of concept.
And when I read the ones that I read, it just seemed very repetitive to me. It was like you kind of just changed a few characters, told the same story, and then changed one outcome and did it all over again. And I'm like, all right, that's enough for me. But
for me, I loved it. Oslo B is asking, have we read Married with Children comics?
We both said the same thing. Didn't know that there was a series. So obviously familiar with the TV series. Did not know about the comic series. So that's one we'll have to look up, Oslo. Thank you.
Yes.
Robert S. So first of all, thank you for the comments and referring to the Sir, Ma'am, Sweetie thing in Texas. You definitely, we are walking the same path. And
he wanted to know what was the first comic book that you either owned or read.
And for me, I've told somebody, I think I've told this story before. My first introduction to comic books was my oldest brother, who is 12 years older than me, 12, 13 years older than me, getting too old for it to be cool anymore. And literally him and his best friend in high school, who used to read all the time and collect, handed me a trash bag full of books and saying, here you go. If you don't want them, throw them out. So I had a ton of stuff in that bag. My earliest memories were, like, I even had like Teen Titans in there.
Yeah.
Which, whatever. I also had Daredevil, which hooked me. I had Conan. I had some Doctor Strange. So those are my first earliest memories of ones that were given to me. First one I actually bought was probably a Batman comic, but I don't remember which one because it came at a weird time and like in between movies and getting older myself. I, honest to God, don't remember. I just know that I've always been a Batman fan. And I probably had that or Daredevil.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the first purchase, but I can't remember when that was.
So for me, it was a close friend of the family, one of our guy friends. He had just a ton of comic books, and one of the comic books that he had was X-Men. And I grew up definitely with the 90s X-Men animated series, so one of my absolute favorite characters is Rogue. Love her to pieces. And I picked up an X-Men comic book, and like Rogue was married to Magneto, and everything was backwards, and all the characters that I knew and loved were doing weird, funky things.
That's not in the cartoon.
And I put it down, and I was like, I never want to pick up another X-Men comic book. I've read some X-Men since, but
Joss Whedon, you read?
Yeah, I have. I learned very, very quickly that there is a jumping in point with X-Men, and there is a not jumping in point with certain comic books. You can't just fly in. So I kind of gave up because he mostly had this X-Men series, but it wasn't even like continuous. He jumped like from issue 100 to issue 300. So I gave up. The first comic book that I owned was Zenescope Robin Hood. Yeah. And it was one of those where I dragged Scott on over to the booth, and I was like, I'm going to buy my husband comic books. It's going to be so exciting. And while I was there, that's when I found out that there was a female Robin Hood. And I've always been a fan of Robin Hood in general. I love those stories. I watch every single movie, read the books. But when I saw the twist, I was like, we've got to get this. Grabbed that, and it was Cinderella Serial Killer, which I'm like, yes. So
love that book.
We definitely got a couple titles for us, and we went home from Comic-Con that day and sat down, looked at all of our comic books, and I picked up Robin Hood, and I just sat there giggling on the couch. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm hooked on Zenescope.
Yeah. So thanks for those questions. Yes. Keep them coming. Add us, send us some more from this week.
And what question do we want to put in the comments this week?
So for me, I would say, if you have been to a con, first of all, do you find yourself kind of limiting yourself in your days to particular areas? For example, do you spend all day perusing through all the vendors there that are supplying books and or artwork? Or do you go to the collectibles? Or do you go to the artist signings? Or do you go to the panels? Or do you just go to the cosplay? Or do you do a pretty even mix of all? Like, what's your primary goal or reason for going to a con? I guess is the best way to put that.
Yeah.
And then after that, what do you go to the con to do? But then what do you have to see or want to see before you leave to make sure that you had a good time? So some people treat cons like work. Like, I've got these 5 issues, and they walk in with a list and you can see them and they're determined and they're there first thing and they're just rifling through the stuff, and like somebody with their hair on fire could walk behind them and they wouldn't know. They're like, no, I gotta find issue 617, it's right here. And then other people are just like walking around in a daze, like, oh my God, overwhelmed, right? So where are you on that scale? What's your point for going? And then what else do you like to do while you're there?
And if you haven't been to a con yet,
Yes.
is there a con that you're looking forward to going to? Like, are you
Yes.
trying to go to some of the smaller ones that are more comic book focused? Are you trying to get to like the big ones and just sort of get?
Because we're excited, in case you can't tell, that we're getting ready to go back to one finally.
Yes,
We bought
Joelle
tickets.
Jones is coming.
So we'll give you our answers next week as well.
Yes, and we have a video at some point, because we're gonna do it together, on tips to prepare and survive your.
We'll do a
whether
whole
it's your
con thing,
first
yeah.
Comic-Con or our experiences, things that we highly recommend, like comfortable shoes. You're going to get a lot of steps in. So, we will see you all again next week. Bye-bye.